Hi, I'm Richard from the University of Westminster. Thank you for joining me today for our webinar. I'm really excited to spend the next 15 minutes telling you a little bit about our university. I'm going to share a presentation with you, hopefully tell you a little bit about what it's like to study with us at Westminster, and give you some more information about the kinds of courses you can do and what life's like when you join us to study here in London. So firstly, a little bit about the University of Westminster. We've been teaching in central London for over 175 years now. We're what's known as a new university. That's because we started as a polytechnic, so a long history in applied learning, a kind of teaching for professional life, and then became a university in 1992 alongside a lot of other UK universities. We are home to about 20,000 students, so a medium-sized university, we would say there, but still very, very large, with 20,000 students, and very diverse. We have students from over 150 different nations. About a third of our students are from overseas, so from the European Union or from elsewhere in the world. So really diverse student body. So really kind of mirrors what London is as a city, and very diverse, and people from all different backgrounds and all different cultures. So no matter where our students are from, they find a real home at Westminster. We've spent a lot of money recently refurbishing our campuses. There's some fantastic facilities for all of our students. Very proud to win awards such as the Queen's Award for Enterprise, and very strong kind of levels of graduate employment, and really well-recognized research in many areas as well. So a real kind of diverse cosmopolitan university in the centre of London. Really good if you want to be right in the heart of the action, right in the middle of the city. I'm sure I don't need to explain this, but this is where we are, so right in the middle of London, just really highlighting the fantastic transport links we have with the rest of the world, with the 5 international airports surrounding London there, so really easy to travel to and from. So if you have family visiting, or if you're traveling home for Christmas or for celebrations, then it's really easy to get to and from London from wherever you are in the world. So this map, it might be kind of familiar to some of you. It says central London, but what this does is really highlights where we're based in London. We have 4 campuses in total. So in a moment, I'm going to take a little bit of time to take you through each campus individually, and tell you a little bit about each one. But the important to think of is that we have 3 campuses: our Marleybone Campus, our Regent Street Campus, and our Cavendish Campus, which are right in the middle of the city. So right in the heart of London. So really kind of busy, fast-paced environment in the heart of the city. We have one further campus, that's our Harrow Campus. Now that's based about 15 to 20 minutes away on the Underground. So it kind of feels like a separate college almost. It's its own base there in northwest London, still very easy, 15, 20 minutes to central London. But up in Harrow, as you'll see when I talk about the campus, it's a little bit greener, a little bit more space, it's surrounded by parkland. So it's a little bit more of a satellite campus, but still very much a part of the university. Whilst we have these 4 different campuses, you will find that when you study at Westminster, you have a base campus. So we have 20,000 students, but because you have a base campus, which is your own campus, depending on which subject you're studying, then it's very easy to navigate. So in a very short space of time, you'll feel really at home on your campus. Whilst you have your base campus, all of our students, you have the opportunity to use all of the facilities across all of the campuses. So once you've settled into your own campus, it's a great time to go and explore and see what's on offer at the different campuses, and also meet other students from different subject areas. So a real fantastic social aspect to studying at the University of Westminster. Now, London as a city, it's one of the top student cities in the world, so one of the best places to study in the world. Now, a lot of people will know about all the fantastic opportunities you have in London, for things like the parks, landmarks, music, shopping, sports as well. So there's some fantastic social aspects to living in London. It really is one of the best places in the world to live. We have 9 million people now in London, so a huge city, lots going on all of the time. But what I like to highlight also is, alongside all the fantastic social aspects to living and studying in London, is that studying a city like London can really help with your academic and professional needs as well. At University of Westminster, we have fantastic industry links where we work with hundreds of businesses and companies around the City of London to offer some great opportunities, not only for internships and work placements, but also to boost your employability and opportunities to network and work with industry directly. And a lot of our degrees are really focused in and fed through from industry knowledge and professional knowledge into the degree. So you're really learning not only those kind of core academic skills, but also skills you need in the workplace and using the most up-to-date technologies and facilities which you would be using when you graduate into employment. There's also some of the best museums and art galleries in the world in London. So if you're studying on one of our more creative programs, then it's a fantastic opportunity to really get inspired by visiting the museums and galleries around London. So focusing in a little bit more specifically on each of the campuses. So like I say, we have the 4 campuses. Where you're based, which campus is your home campus, really is dependent on which subject you're studying. So the first campus we come to is our Cavendish campus. Now this campus, we like to think of as our science campus. At Westminster, we focus in on some core areas of science. So that would be biomedical and biological sciences, computer science and software engineering, and psychology. So all of these science-based subjects are studied at our Cavendish campus. Now, if you were to visit the Cavendish campus, what you would find is that it's quite a large building. We have 7 stories high, the building, and there's some fantastic laboratory facilities. So the top 3 stories of the building are all devoted to laboratory work. So if you're studying a biomedical or biological sciences, or even a nutrition course with us, you'll be spending a lot of time in a white coat working in a laboratory setting. So very practical and applied learning for you at Westminster. Alongside that, with some fantastic computer science facilities, facilities connected to the national grid. So we've got some of the really high performing computer science facilities. And also our psychology department, which is based here, which has won awards for the design of the department. There's some great teaching facilities, but also some really good kind of lab facilities for psychology as well. Because with it being a science-based subject, we'll be expected to be putting your kind of research into practice and running experiments within psychology as well. The next campus we come to is our Regent Street campus. Now, this is a favourite of mine because it's our oldest campus. It's where we first started teaching over 175 years ago. This campus is right in the heart of London by Oxford Circus Tube Station. It's on the iconic Regent Street. And it's a beautiful old building and now houses our School of Humanities and our School of Social Sciences. So here you'll find our fantastic programs in English language, translation and interpreting, sociology, criminology, linguistics, and also politics and international relations. On this campus as well, you will also find our cinema. So University of Westminster are proud to have one of the oldest cinema in the UK. So it's where the first ever moving pictures were shown anywhere in the UK. So if you are visiting London, even if you're not yet studying at Westminster, I would recommend a trip to the Regent Street campus just to see the cinema and experience the history of cinema there on our Regent Street campus. Close to the Regent Street campus, and part of it as well, across the road we have our law school. So here we have all of our LLB and LLM, so our kind of professional and bachelor's programs in law, studied in our own dedicated building. So right here you have some space just for our law students. So it's a really fantastic opportunity to study law in central London, where you have your own base just for you. So everybody on this campus, in this building, will be studying law. We teach bachelor's and master's degrees in law. Broadly speaking, at a bachelor's level, you would study all areas of law. And at master's level, you can specialize. We've got a strong reputation in corporate finance law and also entertainment law, international law. So there's real opportunities for you to study an area of law which really fits your professional aspirations. The third and final of our central London campuses is actually the largest of the central London campuses. That's our Marleybone campus. Now, on Marleybone, we house 2 different schools of the university. So the first would be our School of Architecture and Cities. This includes our fantastic architecture programs, but also those in property, construction and planning, and also tourism and events, and transport and logistics. Now, studying architecture at the University of Westminster is a real creative program. So lots of opportunity for designing, building, creating, real arts focus on our architecture programs. If you were to visit the campus, you would find some amazing studio spaces where our architecture students will work together on projects. We also have 2 stories of the campus, so the bottom 2 stories of the campus, all dedicated to what we call Fabrication Laboratories. So this is where you can design, create and build and make. So everything from kind of traditional workshop resources through to more cutting edge resources like your 3D printers, all based there in our Fabrication Laboratories. We also have our own art gallery in Marleybone. It's called Ambika P3. It's a huge gallery space where we often have shows from practicing artists, but also as an opportunity for our students to show their work as well. So we really like to get our students to be out there kind of presenting their work as they would do in a professional context. Looking at our School of Tourism, now London is one of the best places in the world to study tourism and events. It's one of the most visited cities in the world. So there's real opportunities to kind of add to your learning within tourism and events by kind of practicing and working on some real life projects within the City of London. And finally, our biggest school is our business school, which is one of the UK's largest business schools. We have over 350 staff and around 6,000 students. About 30% of those are from outside of the UK. Within the business school, we have some really good facilities. One of my favourite parts of the university, my favourite places in the university, is our Bloomberg Financial Markets Trading Suite, where you can use the Bloomberg software, which is used extensively in banks, not only in the UK, but also around the world. So when you're studying business with us, and especially in courses like finance or accounting, then you get to use these kind of facilities which are used within the real world and within employment. So you're getting not only a fantastic education academically, but you're getting those soft skills and those skills you need to move directly into employment as well. Within the business school, I always think of it as we do kind of 2 different broad areas of study at undergraduate level, where you can do a broad business management program where you're looking at different areas of business, or we do very specific specialist degrees where you're looking very much in depth at one area of business. So be that accounting, finance, marketing, economics, or human resource management. There's some great opportunities there for you if you want to either study a broad area of business or focus in on one specific areas. At master's level, similarly, you can do broad international business and management programs where you're looking strategically at different areas of business, or you can do very specialist degrees in things like finance, investment, or economics. Now, our final campus, this is our Harrow campus. So this is one which I mentioned was a little bit further away from the city centre, about 20 minutes on the underground. So it's not far at all from the centre of London. But what you would find there is it's got a very different feel to it, as you've got a little bit more space. There's a little bit more in the way of parkland surrounding the campus. So there is that kind of a little bit more of an arts feel, which is fantastic because this houses our School of Arts and our School of Media and Communications. So all of our fantastic programs in art and design, graphic design, photography, fashion and fashion design, also things like fashion business management, which is very popular, our kind of flagship programs in television, film and moving image, and things like digital media, journalism, all housed on our Harrow campus. Harrow campus has got some great facilities, things like music. We've got some fantastic recording studios. A lot of our alumni have done very well through music, winning Grammy Awards. We have some fantastic people coming through studying film and television. There's a time a few years ago when 3 ex-students of ours in one evening won an Oscar. So very proud of that. So some really fantastic programs in arts, design and creative arts. One thing which is great about the Harrow campus is that because we have a little bit more space there, that we give a lot of our art students their own dedicated studio space. So you're not moving stuff to and from the university, you have your own dedicated space within the campus for your studio. Also having all of our kind of creative students, so music, fashion, arts, media in one place allows for some great collaborative work. So you can work with people from across different creative industries, and again, mirroring what you would do within the real world when you're out in employment and working. Now, as I said, as we started life as a polytechnic, and so we have a real professional focus in our degrees. So we work with lots of professional organizations to make sure that any of the degrees you study, not only do you have that academic kind of content, but you have that professional content as well. So you know that when you exit your degree, and move into employment, you have not only those kind of core academic skills, but also the professional skills you need and professional accreditation you need to find employment afterwards. Majority of our degrees, both at undergraduate level and many at postgraduate level, have opportunities for work placements and internships alongside your degree. So that could be anything from a full year's paid internship, so where you're turning a 3 years bachelor's degree into a 4-year degree and then a full year working in London, or a shorter internship where you're working for a short period of time on a project with a company. That could be maybe something within the creative arts, or it could even be at a postgraduate level where, well, during your 1-year master's degree, you take a bit of time to do an internship and get some real work experience alongside that. And again, all aimed at boosting your employability and your desirability to employers when you leave university. Very quickly, I'll touch on the entry requirements. Specifically here, I'm going to talk about the English language requirements. You would need to have an English language qualification to join us. The majority of undergraduate programs, that's your bachelor's degrees, we would ask for an IELTS of 6.0 with a minimum of 5.5 in all of the different components. And for postgraduate is 6.5 with a minimum of 6.0. There are some programs which maybe have a slightly higher level of English requirement. That tends to be those which are very language heavy, so things in media or perhaps English language linguistics. They might have a slightly higher language requirement. For academic entry requirements, for undergraduate, we're looking at students who've completed high school and possibly done a foundation program to then access university, or if they've done international baccalaureate or A-levels, they can directly apply to the university. And at postgraduate, we're looking at students who have an equivalent of a UK degree with a 2-1 or a 2-2, depending on the subject area. The majority, we're looking at a 2-2 level of postgraduate degree, of bachelor's degree for entry to postgraduate programs. And then a quick note on tuition fees. So for undergraduate programs, we're looking at £14,400 per year for a 3-year program. And postgraduate, it varies depending on the course. So between £13,000 to £19,000, depending on the course. But all of the course fees are given on our website. So I know that was a very whistle-stop tour of the university. I'm going to leave you there, but obviously do get in touch with the university. Contact us if you have any questions. What we like to think of as a very vibrant, state-of-the-art university, really in the heart of London, offering you some fantastic opportunities to continue your studies with us here at Westminster. Thank you.
Всем добрый день, здравствуйте. Сегодня мы поговорим о 3 университетах: университет Бристоль, Queen Mary и университет Nottingham, Trent. Сейчас я поделюсь с вами экраном, и мы начнем. Первый университет, о котором мы сегодня будем говорить, это университет Бристоль. Университет Бристоль входит в известную группу Russell. Russell-группа – это аналог американской лиги Плюща. Это топовые исследовательские университеты. Зачастую они датированы еще в 1400-1500 году. То есть это вот основополагающие университеты всех дальнейших университетов, которые есть сейчас в Великобритании. Университет Бристоль находится в городе Бристоль. Бристоль – это известное место для жизни как студентов, так и просто обычных людей Великобритании вне Лондона. Это считается самым добрым городом, самым лучшим городом для жизни и также зеленой столицей. В данном городе можно найти все, что угодно. Можно найти культурные хабы, театры, кинотеатры, зеленые парки, насаждения. Но одним из таких известнейших моментов является выставка воздушных шаров. То есть та, которая известна в Каппадокии, аналогичная проводится еще в Бристоле. На экране вы можете видеть сейчас фотографии ночной жизни города, так и дневной. Дневная часть Бристоля, она напоминает вот какой-то проевропейский, возможно, даже чем-то Львов или Западную Украину. Известной также локацией является мост, он часто появляется на открытках. На заднем фоне как раз можно увидеть фестиваль воздушных шаров, прекрасная разноцветная набережная. Но самым, конечно, важным моментом города и самой такой гордостью является университет Бристоль. Университет Бристоль занимает 9-е место в Великобритании, по другому рейтингу 8-е место и входит в топ-50 лучших университетов всего мира. Кроме учебы, естественно, важна дальнейшая судьба студента, будто вы захотите вернуться обратно в Украину, либо остаться в Великобритании. Данный университет входит в одни из самых желанных университетов и их выпускников для будущих работодателей. По этому показателю он занимает 4-е место в мире, в Великобритании и 50-е место в мире. Если вас интересуют такие направления, как биоинженерия, биотехнологии, медицинское направление, фармакология, то данный университет, он занимает 5-е место в Великобритании по исследованиям. В Европе он входит в одни из самых лучших по качеству преподавания, 9-е место. Так выглядит университет с воздуха, территория, аудитория, одна из составляющих университета. И переходим к рейтингам. Университет высоко ценится в Великобритании за свой рейтинг по предметам. В мире 9 предметов входит в топ-50. 15 место в мире по ветеринарии, 19 место по социальной политике, 45 по статистике, 48 по фармакологии. Если данного направления нет среди тех, которые вы ищете, то обратите внимание на вот низ экрана. Скорее всего, одно из ваших направлений здесь присутствует. Данный университет входит также в топ-100 мира по направлениям финансы, экономика, право, инженерия, химия, физика, психология, социальные науки, гуманитарные науки. Поэтому будьте спокойны и уверены в том, что, выбирая университет Бристоль, вы можете быть уверены за то, что он будет высоко стоять не только в Великобритании, но и во всем мире. Если вы обращаете внимание не только на мировые рейтинги, но и на рейтинги внутри страны, обратите внимание на Guardian University Guide 2021. По данным рейтингам, опять-таки, можно увидеть инженерия, 1-е место в Великобритании. 1-е место, как вы понимаете, означает, что он обходит всем известные Оксфорд и Кембридж. Кинопроизводство, 2-е место, социология, 2-е место, физиология, анатомия, химия, фармакология, философия, 5-е место, компьютерные науки, 8-е, экономика, 9-е место. Как вы видите, действительно высокие рейтинги. Это не маленький университет, здесь учатся 27,5 тысяч студентов, и преобладающее количество находится на социальных науках и праве, порядка 8 тысяч студентов. По исследованиям. По исследованиям данный университет входит в топ-5 лучших в Великобритании. На экране вы можете увидеть более 40 стран, с которыми сотрудничает данный университет в целях развития и исследований. По карьере и трудоустройстве. Выпускники данного университета входят в топ-3 самых высокооплачиваемых, а точнее занимают 1-е место среди всех выпускников в Великобритании на протяжении 3 лет после выпуска из университета. Как говорилось ранее, топ-50 в мире также по трудоустройству. Поэтому если ваша цель не остаться внутри Великобритании, а уехать либо домой, либо в Европу, либо в любую точку мира, вы будьте уверены, что данный университет также высоко оценится за границами своей страны. Если ваше направление бизнес, вам будет интересно узнать, что университет является лучшим в мире бизнес-инкубатором. Бизнес-инкубатор означает, что если у вас есть определенная мысль о том, как должна выглядеть ваша компания, то данный университет доведет вас до финальной точки воплощения. Кроме этого, они еще финансируют стартапы до 40 тысяч фунтов по карьере и трудоустройству. Университет помогает с написанием CV, подачей правильной аппликации на работу, так и готовят вас к правильному прохождению интервью или собеседованию. Кроме этого, университет еще приглашает ежегодно около 300 работодателей на кампус, как для карьерной выставки, так и для общения face-to-face с каждым студентом. Это делается как с целью, во-первых, предоставить студентам возможность пройти практику и стажировку сразу в этих известных компаниях, так и для того, чтобы получить одного из владельцев, либо из состава менеджмента компании, как твоего собственного ментора для продвижения по карьерной лестнице. Одно дело учиться, другое дело еще делать что-то вне класса. В университете Бристоль есть около 400 спортивных клубов и активностей. Поэтому найти вы сможете все. Медитации, кулинарные курсы, занятия с воздушным шаром, черлидерство. На экране вы можете увидеть собственный театр, бассейн, теннисный корт, балетную студию. Поэтому, кроме прекрасной учебы, у вас еще будет прекрасное времяпрепровождение вне занятий и библиотека. Вторым университетом, о котором мы поговорим сегодня, это Queen Mary университет в Лондоне. Queen Mary это также университет группы Рассел, как и университет Бристоль. Его один из таких плюсов является локация. Локация это Лондон. Как вы понимаете, Лондон настолько большой город, в котором огромное количество будущих работодателей, возможно, партнеров по бизнесу, и, соответственно, студенту здесь будет намного больше возможностей для персонального развития. Датируется история создания университета Queen Mary еще к 1785 году, когда была основана Королевский медицинский колледж. Это был первый официальная медицинская школа в Лондоне. Университет, как было сказано, относится к группе Рассел, то есть это исследовательский университет, и имеет 5 разных кампусов по всей территории Лондона. По рейтингам он занимает 12 место в Великобритании и 110 место в мире. По исследованиям и инновациям данный университет является одним из сильнейших, которые есть в Великобритании. Он входит в топ-5 самых сильных, а также отмечается как один из самых сильных мировых лидирующих университетов в сфере исследований. В частности, 42 место занимает. На экране вы также можете видеть так называемый ежик. Это институт Blizzard, это институт клетки. Это был первый такой мировой образовательный центр, который занимался биомедицинскими исследованиями. Queen Mary это университет, который постоянно стремится быть в ногу с развитием. То есть они были одними из самых первых, кто еще смогли обнаружить нюансы не ранее исследованных раковых клеток. В Queen Mary есть 20 школ или институтов. Здесь есть школа науки, инженерии, медицины, стоматологии, здесь есть гуманитарные науки и социальные науки. Найти можно будет любой из вариантов, который вы захотите. Если вы стремитесь попасть в университет Кун-Мэри, как для программ бакалавриата, так и для программ магистратуры, они проходят на базе Kaplan International College London, KSL сокращенно. Обучение Foundation проходит на базе KSL, и дальнейшая прогрессия идет на программу бакалавриата. По магистратуре точно так же программа премастер, ведущая к магистерскому направлению. KSL кампус находится в центре Лондона. То есть территориально это буквально в 6 минутах от Тауэр-Бридж. Каждому из студентов предоставляется также место в резиденции. Места и сами резиденции находятся либо в 10 минутах ходьбы от самого KSL, либо уже там в 50-20 минутах езды на общественном транспорте. И последний университет, о котором мы поговорим сегодня, это университет Nottingham Trent. Вы его можете видеть на экране. Это университет не группы Russell, тем не менее, это действительно вот сильный и достаточно популярный вариант в мире. Nottingham Trent находится буквально в 2 часах езды на общественном транспорте от Лондона. На экране вы можете видеть фотографии данного города. Он небольшой, но тем не менее он достаточно вот компактный, он достаточно милый, такой проевропейский. В Великобритании на 2020 год университет Nottingham Trent занимает 15 место в Великобритании и входит в топ-20 лучших университетов по студенческому опыту и восприятию учебы. Также он занимает 4 место по финансам Великобритании, согласно рейтингу Guardian University Guide 2020, и 11 место по бизнес-менеджмент и маркетинг. На экране вы можете видеть некоторые фотографии данного университета. Данный университет также достаточно часто ассоциируется вот с бизнес-лабораториями. Бизнес-лаборатории – это специально оборудованные территории, где студенты вживую могут учиться работать с финансовыми платформами, с Bloomberg технологиями. Поэтому они получают вот реальный опыт бирж, уже учась в университете с первого курса обучения. Здесь есть также интересный момент. Это возможность сделать программу International Year One. То есть стандартный путь поступления на бакалавриат для школьника лежит обычно через программу Foundation. То есть внизу экрана вы можете видеть Foundation плюс 3 года бакалавриата. С International Year One вы делаете 2 года в одном. Foundation плюс 1 год, 2 в одном. И переходите на 2 курс, не на 1, как с Foundation. Соответственно, вы сокращаете полноценный 1 год обучения и быстрее, раньше выйдете, собственно, в плавание и будете искать работу. Доступно по направлениям бизнес, бизнес-менеджмент финансы, бизнес-менеджмент предпринимательства, бизнес-менеджмент гуманитарные, науки маркетинг, международный бизнес. Но кроме этого есть еще направления по компьютерам, просто компьютер-сайенс, такие направления, которые связаны с компьютерной криминалистикой, что достаточно интересный вариант в нынешних, в принципе, условиях жизни. В принципе, с моей стороны все. Если у вас есть вопросы, рада на них ответить.
Good afternoon. I'm Jane from the University of St Andrews, and I'm just going to take this opportunity to tell you a bit about the university, about some of the courses we offer, and about the experience of our students there, and why, of course, you should consider coming and studying with us. So, St Andrews. St Andrews is in Scotland, which is in the northern end of the UK, and one of the things students are sometimes concerned about is that it might be rather a cold place, but because of the warm air of the Gulf Stream, this is not actually the case. It's St Andrews, as with most of the UK, has a very pleasant climate. St Andrews is beside the sea. You can see there a lot of green in the background, and in fact, those are not fields, those are the golf courses, which are the other things for which St Andrews is famous. So as well as having an ancient university, St Andrews is the name of the town as well as the university. It also is very famous as a place where people like to come and play golf. It has beautiful beaches. And this is a good picture of the medieval town centre. You can see in the foreground, there's some ruined buildings, and that's actually the Cathedral of St Andrews, which made St Andrews a place of pilgrimage in the Middle Ages, but it was destroyed during the Reformation, and it's now a tourist attraction. You can see perhaps also in this picture that there are many older buildings, larger buildings dotted around in the town, and these are mostly university departments. There's no campus in the conventional sense. The town and the university grew up together, so they're both intermingled. They're completely mixed up with each other. The newer university departments, for example, the science departments and the student accommodation, the halls of residence, you can see those in the top left of the screen. So those are, in fact, where the modern buildings are clustered. But this is not a huge town. You can walk across the center of the town, this medieval center, from, let's say, a science lab in the top left of the building, down to the old harbor right at the bottom of the picture in about 20 minutes or so. So it's very easy to get around. And this is one of the things our students enjoy very much. It's very walkable, or you can, you can ride a bicycle. I mean, of course, we have buses, we have taxis. It's possible to use other forms of locomotion, but one of the pleasures is to live somewhere where the beach is 10 minutes walk, the library is 10 minutes walk, Starbucks is 10 minutes walk, your home is 10 minutes walk. It's very convenient and very pleasant to be able to just access everything on foot. So why would you want to study at St Andrews? Well, it's a very highly ranked institution. It's very traditional, which is difficult to avoid when you've been in the business for 600 years. It has a very global outlook, both in terms of the subjects it studies and, of course, the student body itself. And we offer a very flexible degree structure in a lovely environment, a very safe, comfortable, welcoming environment to study in. So the town itself, as I already mentioned, is very historic. It's full, the city centre has many historic old buildings. And some of them are teaching buildings, not as I say, no medieval laboratories, but we do have some very lovely old buildings with classrooms in them, and one or two of our libraries are housed in very beautiful old buildings. The university has a strong sense of community, and this is one of the most important things to mention, and it's the thing that our students comment on. In fact, students coming to St Andrews, they often talk about it as the bubble. That's their nickname for it, because it's a community where you get to know a lot of other students. You walk around, as I said, and you can get to know the place very quickly. You get to know a lot of other people very quickly because being a small town, we don't have a lot of students who go home to their families in the evening or who already have a ready-made circle of friends like would happen in a city university. So everybody who arrives, and it doesn't matter if they come from, you know, Kiev or Timbuktu or Kansas or Copenhagen, you know, any place where these students come from, they're all arriving with the same lack of knowledge of the place and not really knowing many people. But the university helps in many ways for students to get to know each other so that they quickly feel that they're part of a community. And it's partly the traditions, and it's partly because we have a very good infrastructure for study. So for example, lots of student accommodation and all first-year students guaranteed university accommodation. So all of this means basically that students quickly settle in and feel comfortable. We have a lot of support systems in place for students as well. This has been really noticeable recently. If you look on our web pages, you'll see masses of COVID information because we've had so few cases, and the university has worked very hard at keeping all its facilities COVID secure. So medical students have been attending laboratories wearing full PPE, and students have been very collaborative about creating new ways to do things with social distancing. So of course it's not quite like normal times, but nonetheless it's been very manageable, I think. And because we have a lot of space, because we have nice countryside roundabout, we have beaches that students can go and walk on freely, and we have halls of residence, accommodation where students have an internal support system. We have, because it's the main business of the town is the university, tourism and golf, we have a pleasant town centre, lots of little shops and restaurants, different nationalities of food. Most of the clothing and things that you might want to buy as a student are readily available. If not, the city of Dundee is about 20 minutes, 30 minutes on a bus. So you can go to a bigger shopping centre there if you feel the need. The university itself was founded more than 600 years ago. This shows you St. Salvator's College, which is the centre of the Faculty of Arts. And that's St. Mary's College, which was originally a theological institution. We have almost 10,000 students now, of whom more than 30% of undergraduates come from other countries. And you can see that we're well served by airports, so you can typically come to St Andrews via Glasgow or Edinburgh airports. And then it's an hour and a half road trip to the university. You can also travel to and from London very easily. I mean, it's an hour to fly, but you can get on a train at St Andrews and get off in central London about 4.5 hours later. So again, it's a very convenient transport infrastructure. So the university has about 10,000 students, and we say that we're internationally Scottish because although we definitely have a Scottish flavour, and a lot of our local students come from Scotland, we also welcome very many students from countries all around the world. And we have a very mixed and diverse range of international students. Our education is excellent, and there are lots of extracurricular activities. So again, perhaps because it's not a big city, students don't rely so much on instant entertainment as you might find in a city, but there are very many clubs and societies. There are places to eat, places to drink, places to dance. You know, it's not impossible to, and it's not impossible to lead an active social life. And indeed, there are many clubs and societies in terms of sport and political activities, social groups, charity groups, fundraising groups, dancing, debating, almost anything that you can think of, we have groups of students doing it. I mentioned I've already mentioned that we are very safe and supportive because of the kind of university community and the town itself. And we are very friendly and welcoming. And this is, again, something that students often comment on, that it's a very comfortable place to be. We have some quite unusual traditions, and one of the things, again, you'll see this on the website, there are always people wearing red gowns, and the gowns were once upon a time the uniform of the university and were helpful for the local police to recognize students if they were behaving badly, and they had to be worn for all sorts of reasons, but now they're mainly for fun or ceremonial. You don't actually you don't need to own a gown, you don't need to wear a gown, but some students do. And they wear them differently according to the year of study. So the more senior you are, the more loosely you wear your gown. And these girls are all final year students who wear their gowns just way, way down down their backs, you know, off their shoulders. I mentioned that we had loads of sports clubs, so if you're interested in any kind of sport at all, you'll find it. Some sports at a very high level with professional coaching and students playing for international or Scottish teams. And equally, some games like basketball, like soccer, are just played seriously and for fun against other halls of residence, for example. We've got some well-known alumni, and we have very good rankings. So, for example, the Times and the Sunday Times consistently rate us very highly in the UK. We're very highly rated for teaching. And for such a small university, globally, we're also doing quite well. I'm particularly interested in the fact that we are continually highly rated for student satisfaction in the UK. And this is mainly because, as I said before, students really value their study experience. And so they continually, in their final year, report back very positively about their whole university experience. Two of the things which make this, I think, which make it very attractive to students, one is we have a 97% continuation rate. That means very, very few students drop out. So you may think we're a little tougher to enter than some other universities, but once you're in, generally, Our teaching is designed to support you. We want you to be successful. We're not trying to trip you up. If you're good enough to get an offer of a place, you should be good enough to get a degree. You know, if you study and you attend your classes and you engage with your subject, then you should thrive and do well. One of the things which make our students, I think, not inclined to drop out is that we have a very flexible degree structure. So it's quite possible to enter the university planning to do, let's say, economics, and graduate with a degree in management, because during the first 2 years of study, you have to take 3 or 4 subjects, and these are not majors and minors. They are all equal in weight. What that means is that at the end of your first 2 years, and only then, you make the decision about which which degree you're going to do. So it could be that you switch from your original choice to another subject that you've been studying because you have found it more interesting, or you may decide to do joint honours, a double degree. So you study 2 subjects, and you may find that you apply to do 2, but actually you're much more excited about one than the other, so you drop one. So there's a lot of scope to alter your degree, and also to explore other subjects while you're doing your degree. So it's not just like you need to fill up your timetable with a few credits here and there. The subjects you're studying, they're all equal and they're important, but what you will find is that they play off against each other. They are interconnected, and the further you go, the more you will be, I think, the more interested you will become in the way that philosophers think about their subject compared to mathematicians or biologists or psychologists. Every department has its own culture, it has its own way of thinking, it has its own disciplines. But with this system, not only do you get the exposure to people studying and researching and thinking about different aspects of human life and artifacts or thought, but you also get to know students in other departments as well, which is another way that I think we have a strong sense of community, because students intermingle across departments and they don't just know people doing their own subjects. So that's very enriching. So students are taught in large lectures and then supplemented by either practical tasks and projects or tutorials or seminars. So although a large lecture is, stage 1 of the process, you will also have a lot of work with other students. And it's, obviously in a science subject, you might spend a lot of time in a laboratory. If you do, let's say, a business subject, you will probably work in teams, in groups on marketing projects or business scenarios. You'll be thinking about problems, case studies in your subject area with other students. So this will actually not only make you a better student of that subject, but you'll also learn a lot of useful skills in terms of your ability to communicate, in terms of working in teams, in terms of leading or following. And all of the
Jane, can you hear me?
And I think that's something else that you'll find valuable. So what can you study? That's a picture of the old King James Library, by the way, which is a lovely room and a very nice place to work. So we have a wide range of subjects. The subjects in red are in the Faculty of Science, and the subjects in blue are in the Faculty of Arts. So when you choose your second and third subjects, you choose inside your own faculty. So that means, for example, that if you are coming to study international relations, you might also have management and film studies, for example, as your co-subjects. And there's a lot of flexibility. Most subjects can be studied with most other subjects within a faculty. So this is something that is quite unusual, I think, the amount of flexibility we offer. Students often ask which are our best subjects, but you see, we don't have as many subjects as some universities. We don't have so many, we don't have an engineering department, we don't have law, we don't have pharmacy, for example. But the things that we have, we're very strong in, which is why we get good rankings and why we get such high levels of student satisfaction. So we don't tend to have any departments that don't perform well at teaching or research. So several of these subjects are ranked very highly in the UK, top departments within the UK. And, if you want to know more about that, please come and see me or get in touch and I can give you more information. I want to say a little bit about our foundation programs, because very often, if you have not attended an international school, you'll need to do an international foundation year before you start your degree program. And these foundation programs can lead you to any degree at the university. So they'll build on high school knowledge. They'll help you become a more independent student. You'll become a much better writer of English in an academic context. You'll meet people from all over the world, which will make the actual business of studying more interesting. And of course, you'll be qualified to enter St Andrews. So we have 4 programs. The Social Sciences and Humanities program covers a wide range of subjects in the Faculty of Arts. If you're more business-minded, then there's Management, Economics and Finance. We offer all the sciences and also medicine. Seen them already. So these courses are very well recognized throughout the UK. We don't have a very large number of students. More than 100 a year, but it's not enormous. And entry is not automatic. So we, again, follow the university philosophy of accepting you if we think you are likely to be a successful student, if you have good academic qualifications. And if you do, and we accept you, you should be able to complete your foundation year and go straight on into a degree. The medicine program I'll mention briefly just because it's quite unusual. We designed this program together with our School of Medicine about 12 years ago now. So it's tried and tested. It's been running for a long time. And it combines science, so it builds on the science you studied at school and includes preparation for medicine, starting to think like a medic. We look at ethics, medical ethics. We do all kinds of medical case studies just to, again, get you thinking about the subject as a would-be practitioner. We think about professionalism and how you will have to behave as a medical student, one of tomorrow's doctors. We teach you, you do a certified first aid course. We prepare you for UCAT, which is the aptitude, the clinical aptitude test, which most universities in the UK require you to do if you want to study medicine. We put a lot of emphasis on communication skills because most UK universities, most medical schools value that very highly. We teach you about writing for academic purposes, which will come in quite useful in the course of your degree. And the thing that our students often comment on is the focus on time management, because, you know, when you're studying medicine, you have a huge amount of stuff to learn, and learning how to organize your time effectively and still have a life outside of study is very important, and, you know, becomes increasingly important as you go on studying medicine. So it's a good integration between the subject itself and the skills that you'll need. And as I said, it provides a route into university. We've got good facilities. We, our medical school, our current medical school was built just about 10 years ago. So it's a very nice, spacious, modern building. Oh, and St Andrews, actually, just looking back at that, that's actually the dissection room. St Andrews is one of the few UK universities, I think apart from Oxford, Cambridge and Imperial, where full body dissection is still very much part of your medical training. And communication skills, as I mentioned before. The Science Foundation program comes in two formats. So we have an international year one for science, and if you have the appropriate qualifications, you can go straight into year two of your science degree when you complete the foundation year, the international year one. But again, the course provides a bridge between high school study and university and combines first year university science courses, modules in a range of sciences with lab work and communication skills, academic writing, and so on. So I think it's also worth mentioning that all of our foundation programs give you a very good introduction to academic life and academic culture, and simply the difference between living at home or living at school in a quite sheltered environment and being at university, but being at university in a slightly sheltered way, or in a way that gives you enough time to settle in to living. I mean, going to university is a big thing whenever you do it, when you know, move away from home and start out on the next stage of your life. And there's a lot to be thinking about and exploring, as well as your studies. And I think a foundation year allows you to do that in a structured way. Yeah, it's one of the science labs. The program for management, economics and finance allows you to study a wide range of topics, and it doesn't really matter. Well, it will make clear to you actually whether you want to study management or whether you want to study economics or finance. You'll have an introduction to all those subjects, and if you haven't studied them before, I think it helps to clarify what they're about, as well as teaching you quite a lot about them. You'll also study other topics, including some international relations, philosophy, sociology, and psychology. So it gives you the whole global context in which you are doing these subjects. So,
Jane?
yeah, I'm talking too long, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm listening to you.
I know it's just difficult to, well, I mean, I don't. Right, so what should I do? Should I, you've stopped recording, obviously, yeah?
No, I'm recording.
No? Oh, well, now you're going to have to edit this bit out. I've actually only got about another couple of slides. Economics and finance will give you a good understanding of those subjects. And again, like our other courses, you'll have lectures, you'll have tutorials, and you'll have practical projects. So you'll be able to practice your skills in real world scenarios. The Foundation for Social Sciences and Humanities is a great choice for students who are not yet sure what they want to study. So a lot of scientists are pretty clear about what they want to do, but social scientists and students in the Faculty of Arts often want to keep their options open. So this course will let you study a number of possible subjects, including international relations, history, psychology, philosophy, sociology. And I mean, this can vary a bit from year to year, sometimes film studies, sometimes art history, but it will give you a chance to explore what these subjects are offering. And they're studied again with English language and communication skills. Our students who graduate from these programs do typically progress successfully onto a wide range of degree programs. Students live, for foundation students typically live in David Russell apartments. This is one of many halls which university has on offer, and year and for subsequent first year. They have pretty comfortable study bedrooms, quite spacious, and the halls of residence are close to where they're being taught. We need good grades in relevant subjects. So you need good chemistry for medicine, for example. You need maths for economics. We need a good reference from your high school and good predicted grades, and evidence of English language ability, which usually means IELTS between 5.5 and 6.5, depending on the subject, and a personal statement explaining why you want to study the subject. We do interview for some courses, and medical students will also need UCAT, which they should aim to do before the course starts. I'll skip all this because this is quite specific details. Our students do get offers from other universities as well. So up-to-date information about fees and entry requirements is something that I hope I'll have the opportunity to talk to you about when we meet, or our colleagues DEC will also be able to provide information. So thank you for listening.